Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am Jen and this is Fundie Fridays, and usually on my channel we talk about different aspects of Christian fundamentalism while I do my makeup. But today is a very special episode. This is the 2-year anniversary of the beginning of my channel, and we're going to celebrate by reacting to some old videos, answering some questions, and yes, finally getting a Trixie makeover. But first, this video is sponsored by Bright Cellars. Bright Cellars is a wine subscription box, and this is the box that it comes in. The second best thing about Bright Cellars, besides the, incredible selection of affordable wines and wonderful customer service, is these little cards that come with all the wines. And yes, I did keep the ones from last time. So I've got, quite the collection here. These are really pretty. They show the art that's on the wine, but they also, on the back, show you where the wine comes from, what year it was made, what the different flavors are, what foods you should pair it with. So this one, Watchkeeper, which I gotta admit, isn't this like incredible? I want to live in this artwork. The other one that we're gonna be trying later, pair it with dry rubbed ribs or holiday weekend cookouts. Yeah, imagine that. You go to the cookout, everybody's bringing freaking potato salad, and you got wine. I think we know who's gonna be the most popular. The way that you are matched with these wines is that you take this quiz. Using a 30-second quiz, 2 MIT grads built an algorithm that creates a unique taste profile and delivers wines you're guaranteed to like straight to your door. Each box you get builds on the last, so just like your favorite music service, the more you rate and give feedback on your wines, the better they get each month. I don't know about you, but that sounds really cool to me. And since you all are my amazing, wonderful Jennanites, and I hold you also dear to my heart, I have a deal for you. Use my link at brightcellars.com/Fundie2. And you can get 60% off your first box of 4 wines. The Bright Cellars box is made of sustainable packaging, no plastic, and I can tell you from experience, the mailman will not judge you for your wine choices, unlike the snotty teenagers down at your grocery store. We're gonna try this one because A, I really like the package, but it has some really cool flavors on it. Blackberry, blackcurrant, vanilla, and black pepper. Okay. Can you tell I don't know what I'm doing? Boyfriend not included, unfortunately. It's a red wine. And I feel like a vampire. Damn! That's some good shit. So if you want some wine for your Fundie Fridays viewing parties or whatever you want to use it for, brightcellars.com/Fundie2. You can get 60% off your first box of 4 wines. Created the channel in July of 2019. Literally was because I was always talking about fundies, always showing them to everybody I knew. Every time I made a new friend, I would be like, come on over. You're going to watch 8 hours of the Duggars with me and I'm going to info dump all over you. I had been watching YouTube since I was 16, like I'm very familiar with the format, and my best friend, who was my roommate at the time, said you should do Fundie Fridays like Bailey Sarian does Murder Mystery Mondays. And never in a million years would I have guessed that Bailey Sarian would be a fan of my show and comments on my shit all the time. Let me just tell you that my fucking heart just beats out of my chest every time that she stops by. Huge inspiration. And I am noticing that there's a lot of these makeup plus some other type of commentary channels now. I am very happy about that. I think that it's a cool concept, and if it gets the people to watch, then there's nothing wrong with it. I also try to be original and, do things that other people don't do, like with my editing style and the different skits and jokes that I do. So yeah, so my first video chronologically on my channel is the J-Rod Halloween special, but that was not the first video I ever made. The first video I ever made was about Bill Gothard, and I unfortunately don't have any proof of any of these early videos because I got embarrassed by them and deleted them, and I didn't even save them anywhere like on a flash drive. Originally the Duggars was split into 3, and at the time we didn't know anything about Josh's new shit that he was doing, but we did know about the original molestation case from the early 2000s because we had the police report. In the Fundie Snark circle at the time, that was still very small, Josh was hated, and I made a montage pretending that he was on To Catch a Predator.
Doggy, the decoy says, I never did doggy before. Now, the man with the bag of tricks is walking in our house.
Did you try some of my sweet tea?
And he's still willing.
I had to watch a lot of To Catch a Predator to get ideas and clips for this little sketch here, and the decoy lady always asking if they want sweet tea. It just killed me, so I had to edit.
To risk being exposed on national television.
I know you're 12, but girls these days are way ahead.
Whoa!
I thought that was funny because Josh was wearing a blue shirt in one of the clips. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is Fundie Fridays and in these videos, this like is physically painful to watch. Have to do with fundamentalism. This curtain behind me was my curtain in my room and I thought it made a good backdrop. My hair is wet because I used to film these videos on my phone before I would go work. And the job I had, I could do whatever I wanted. And I was by myself, so I would edit videos there. Yeah, I would literally film these at like 9 a.m. and go to work at 11 a.m. And I was using a different editing program, but it's not terrible, but it's like good quality. Today I'm gonna talk all about Josh Duggar. He is the firstborn son of the Duggar children and probably the most famous at this point. Oh yeah, I had freshly got my bangs cut too. Oh, remember Bang Jen? Righteous background. Oh, let's rev up those fryers and get ready to be depressed. Duggar was born on March 3rd, 1988. Since childhood, he has been a self-centered, attention-hogging douchebag. Obviously, I'm biased. But I never did like Josh on 19 Kids and Counting. He always seemed really arrogant. When Josh was 14, you're being arrogant. His sisters and an unrelated babysitter. It's cool to see like the progression of my tattoos too in the last 2 years because I have more and several of them are colored in now. Jim Bob called up a state trooper that he met while he was working on his car lot. There is no footage of what the trooper said to Josh, but I can only imagine it went like this.
You're ugly, you're disgusting, I'm gonna kill you, give me $200.
I am obsessed with that clip. Serving pink eye realness. Oh yeah, I still rock the fucking loyalty song and I swear to God, I'm going to sing it to James at our wedding.
Spoke the very emotions from my heart. And I was so emotional at that time anyway, it was hard for me to really think, okay, I gotta sing this. I gotta be able to get these words out.
You have hard times, and all others are gone. I will be there when the troubles have gone. Through sunshine or rain, when no help can be found. These may seem hopeless, but just look around.
Yeah, I mean, I've reused a lot of these clips over the years because they're so iconic, including Jim Bob, minor touching minors, Duggar. This shit, when it was leaked on Free Ginger, let me tell you, fucking pandemonium. Why would she lie about this? Of all the second-rate reality stars, she picked Josh Duggar. Dylan. Yeah, at the time, nobody believed Danica Dillon, so I hope that they finally do because Josh is a monster. And every other victim of the police department said shots he is either covered by a fake lens flare or uses his own son to cover his face. I remember that. He's
our chaperone. So we chose Jana and John David. We thought, why not have a double date? We are from Arkansas, no.
When you're feeling weak, you gotta pray. Yo.
That song in my old opening is called Happy Rock. Ben Sound Happy Rock. It's from like freemp3sounds.com or something. And whenever I hear it in like commercials, I'm always like, what? They stole my song. Even though I stole it. I try to be nice about Josh Harris now because he did write the opening to Brenda from God is Grey's book. And like he's trying to redeem himself, but I still hold like a huge grudge against him for basically like inventing courtship in the way that we use it in the 2000s. In this video, I'm talking a lot about how the myth of the 1950s housewife is a myth. And sure, that happened to some people, but the majority of women have like always worked. Like nobody can afford a one-parent working household. Even back then, it was like, you know, they only made it because they were eating freaking like gelatin molds full of fucking veal. Like people were weird in the 50s. We don't need to emulate them again. The reason why I took this video down is not because I'm not like proud of it. It's because the director of this documentary emailed me to say that she wanted me to take it down. I know I'm fully in the right legally, like I can use clips of the documentary for fair use, especially since it's transformative, educational, and commentary. But it's really hard to fight that shit, and YouTube does not care about their creators whatsoever. They will not help you unless you're one of the biggest names. Didn't want to deal with it, especially since the video was older and I felt like it needed updated anyway. I was like, I'll just take it down. I even emailed her and I was like, oh, I'm a fan of your documentary. Why would you want me to take it down? And she didn't reply. So I don't know.
It is worth the wait. Sexual abstinence until you're married is the most unbelievable thing.
I took this one down. This is Bethel. I took it down because I got a lot of copyright claims, and not from who you'd think. I got a copyright claim from WWE because this episode features a lot of James talking about how the atmosphere at a wrestling show and the atmosphere at a Bethel show are the same. And so I used a clip of Bray Wyatt, and they did not like that. Another thing that I didn't like about this video is that I featured heavily from the channel Cultish, which they are very on the apologetic side, which I am not a fan of. I also used footage of Doreen Virtue, who I do not support. So I just don't stand by this video anymore. I might redo it, or maybe make like a small like slideshow version, because a lot of things need to change. Another thing that's funny about this is that at the beginning of this episode, I'm talking about if I get a Patreon, and I was scared to make a Patreon because I was like, I don't deserve one. Who would pay me money to make content? And little did I know that it's actually the best decision I ever made. And also this thing up here is a wrestling joke. Oh, I got copyright claimed for this music too. Bethel is a church in Redding, California, and they're very similar to Hillsong. They're kind of like American Hillsong. And they are mega church, charismatic, do the big worship through like concerts. But they're like way more supernatural. They even have it's called Christian Hogwarts. Well, that's not really what it's called, but it's nicknamed Christian Hogwarts, and it's the Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry, and they teach faith healing, miracles, grave soaking, which is where you lay on the grave of a dead person and you soak up their anointing. They have this thing where they believe, like, they have like literal gold glitter that will come from the ceiling. I don't know how it gets there. I don't think God put it there, but they say that literally it's like a miracle that this gold shit is falling from the ceiling. Let me show you. Oh, it's called the glory cloud. Here it is. Gold has rained from the ceiling, which is impossible. Glitter doesn't just rain from the ceiling. I was picking up those gold pieces for weeks after that. Bethel's big thing is that they tried to resurrect a little girl that died. She was the daughter of one of the worship leaders, and she was 2 years old and she died. And for like 2 weeks, they kept sending out prayer requests. They made a song. This is the song. Spirit, I will rise from the ashes of defeat. If you guys wonder, yes, every single song that I've ever played on this channel, I get stuck in my head. She didn't get resurrected. Otherwise, you would have heard about that. But yeah, it was very embarrassing, and they're wanting to like sell that single, that song, the Resurrect Olive song. They're trying to sell that single and make money. Pretty much everybody hates Bethel. Bill Johnson is the leader. He's like a weird Republican. It's very nepotistic. Like his whole family runs the place, and they harass the locals. They've pretty much taken over that entire town of Redding. It's pretty bad. Lots of cult vibes. So that's Bethel. I didn't do a very good job of showing you the video.
Telling you a lie.
Too much. Too much. WWE will have my ass.
And leave this to the professionals. And messages that...
It's like James's first, like, real cameo. Now I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions that I get all the time. I'm very excited. People always asking me about my faith background. We didn't go to church in my family. The only time I ever went to church was for Girl Scouts. And now weddings. Kind of became like a atheist at like age 10, although I would change my mind all the time, and I even invented some religions. But I grew up in a really small, like dilapidated, like old factory town. I think it's really interesting that despite not growing up religious, I still felt the pressure of living in the Bible Belt, and like everything was just kind of religious by default, even if you didn't want it to be. Like I literally had a science teacher in high school that told us that global warming was a myth and spent like a whole week like explaining why with PowerPoints, like showing like the hole in the ozone layer not growing and like how, yeah. Anyway, and there was nothing to do if you were a teenager, and we went to this place called Cafe 41, and it was like a teen hangout spot, and it would start off like Guitar Hero and snacks, but then it devolved into like full-on indoctrination, and that was just accepted because churches can't possibly be bad. Like that's just the default culture in America, is that church equals good. Nowadays I consider myself more agnostic. I like the flexibility. I want to be able to give myself the opportunity to change my beliefs or question them. I never want to say that I believe this forever and nothing will ever change it. I think the point of life is to explore and learn everything you possibly can, and question everything. Like, I wasn't raised fundamentalist. What got me interested was the Duggars. I watched 17 Kids and Counting. I watched the other specials too from 14 and up, so I was very familiar with them. But I, on my own, decided to research the Duggars, and I went on their website and found their links to ATI and College Plus and the Pearls and did all that information on my own. And that was just like fun facts for me. And then I discovered Free Ginger in 2014. And I had a job where I worked night shifts, so I would just stay up all night and read every single thread I could get my hands on. So that's how I know about a lot of these like really niche ones, is because I've known about them for a few years and nobody's made a video about them, so it was time for me to do it. You know, my interest in politics is growing too, so it's just like crazy to see just how directly fundamentalism has influenced the Republican Party, and I mean, more than that, the whole world, really. I know some of you motherfuckers want to know my birth chart, so I'm going to look it up. Keep in mind, I don't know what any of this means, but I'm a Virgo, Sun, Capricorn, Moon, Sagittarius rising. Another question I get all the time is always, they don't ask about me, they're like, will you cover blank? Will you cover such and such topic? And the answer is, probably. I will probably cover a lot of these topics. It take me a while. James, people are always calling him my fiance and boyfriend, my husband. We're just boyfriend, girlfriend right now. We're gonna get married someday. We've talked about it a lot. Kids, probably not, but I'm working on them. So house tour, I do have a house tour on Patreon. And I will film another one when the whole house is done. I'm in the middle of like painting and decorating and all that, so you know. A Virgo's not going to let you see their product unless it's finished, okay? I never figured out what this was. It was my grandma's, and she passed away, so, I mean, I can't ask her, but it's doing pretty well, as you can see. This is a Monstera Addisoni, and it doesn't have holes yet, apparently, because it's young. Don't know what this is. Got it at Lowe's. Some type of fern. See, I used to know the names of all these. This is maybe a philodendron, heartleaf, possibly. Monstera deliciosa. I'm thinking of splitting it into two plants. We'll see. We got a pothos, Christmas cactus. I think these are called Purple Princess. We thought it was a wandering jewel, but I don't think it is. It gets really purple on the leaves when it's like in season. Just picked up a ZZ plant today. We'll see how that goes. Gosh, I don't know what this is. I want to say peperomia. Snake plant. I don't know what that is. I rescued it from my old job. Christmas cactus. Another pothos. We're in my kitchen now. I don't know what this is, but I just got it at Lowe's. We got a spider plant, philodendron Brazil, I think. We got a coffee plant that's dying. God, I want to say fiddly fig, and I totally forgot what that is. So those are all my plants. My favorite videos that I've ever created have probably, my all-time favorite episode that I've ever made is Baker Mania, just because I love Tammy so much, and it's really funny. Like, just some of the absurd shit that Jim Baker does on his show is just like, you can't make this stuff up. It is so funny. And of course, like, it's a tearjerker episode because of Tammy. Winky Winky, I did not expect to be as popular as it is, but yeah, that's one of my favorite ones as well because it's personal to me. And I also want to stress that I don't do this alone. I mean, okay, I do 95% of it, and then James edits it for grammar, and we'll add some jokes in there, and sometimes we'll do research together, but it's one woman show in that regard, but I have somebody that transcribes the episodes for me so I can have closed captions up the second the video goes out. My mods on my Discord, you guys are becoming like some of my actual like real life friends, and it's just like so touching because besides these videos, I'm always a lurker online. Like I don't like to talk to people, but like this has helped me come out of my shell. Another thing, I am not going to be doing my patron scroll at the end of my videos anymore because, good thing, but I have too many patrons now that when I copy paste my patron list into Adobe Premiere, it crashes every single time, and I've tried it all kinds of different ways. Just know that you guys are appreciated. I love my patrons so much. Every month when I make that poll, I'm like, oh, they're gonna choose this one for sure. And then you completely surprise me. Here are my favorite YouTubers that I watch. Ask a Mortician, Bailey Sarian, obviously, Bob the Drag Queen,
$50 from Fundie Fridays,
TC Marie, Ex Fundie Diaries, Faith Evolving,
So give me that ring by spring, give me that song of Solomon love, I'll be your Proverbs 31 queen, sitting upon me like a dove.
Gabs with Abigail, God is Gray, Internet Comment Etiquette, James Mansfield. The thing that's really cool about James Mansfield is that they're a huge wrestling fan, and they've actually been on several wrestling podcasts and YouTube channels that me and James watch. So we got to collab sometime. Curtis Connor, obviously, citizen of Curtistown, Lazy Game Reviews, Matt Baum, he's really cool, and he talks about like the history of LGBT representation in media. Nick DeRamio is one that I just found, and I am obsessed. Probably one of the funniest like human beings on the planet. I don't know how, but he uploads like 3 times a week, so I can't imagine being that productive ever. But Philosophy Tube, I would love to do like sets and just long form like essays like her someday. Plant Arena, that's pretty much where I've been getting my education on how to keep my plants alive. Plumbella, my favorite Sims YouTuber, probably favorite regular YouTuber. He's super anxious too, so I doubt we'd ever do a collab. But if word gets out to Plumbella, I'm a huge fucking fan. I love you. Let's chat. Pushing Up Roses, I've been following her for a long time. Townsend's, if you're interested in historical content, recipes, clothes, like literally he shows you how to build a fucking log cabin. Me and James went through an obsession. Like every 6 months we get re-obsessed with Townsend's. I even get the catalog. And then finally, Weird Reads with Emily Louise. All right, here to help me with this Trixie makeover is my dear friend Sarah.
Hi.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a student taking a break from school. I play the bassoon. I do makeup for fun. I am neurodivergent. I met Jen working at a progressive grocery store run by a man from Iowa. I use they, he pronouns. I'm a pretty boy. I'm not a boy, I'm a pretty boy. Thank you.
Like they say in Tu Wong Fu, I don't see you as a man or a woman, I see you as an angel.
All right, so I've never done this, full disclosure, but I've seen that you're supposed to like do it in circles and like really apply thick layers of this glue.
Okay, I forgot to tell you. So, there is reason to believe that Selena Gomez's mother might possibly watch my channel.
Why?
Because she posted on Instagram a picture of the Rodriguez kids and said, going down a rabbit hole. I just posted a Hillsong video. So people are like, maybe she's watching Fundie Friday's Hillsong video and then got sucked into the Rodriguez family. That's not an unreasonable jump.
Like I said, full disclosure, we've never done this, so there's a first time for everything, and you got to learn, you got to make mistakes. So
it's just God's plan.
God's plan. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. Siri, play God's Plan by Drake. Don't do that.
But I got copyright claimed by NBC.
For what?
For using the clip of Chris Pratt talking about his 20-day fast.
For Hillsong?
Yeah, and it was a manual copyright claim. So that means the algorithm didn't catch it. It was literally some fucking intern at NBC was watching my video and go, not today. Did it dry too fast and now we're screwed?
No, it's fine. I'm gonna fix it. It just was drying weird around the edges, so I'm like, it's probably like, when did you get this glue stick?
Oh, several years ago.
Several years ago. We'll see.
This has been used for actual craft projects, probably.
I've done this before. That could look worse. It's not the best, but...
If Jill Rodriguez is still a registered, well, she's probably not registered. She's a makeup artist too.
She's a makeup artist? You're lying.
I used quotes. You didn't see them.
You gotta be lying to me. How do you?
Back in the 90s?
I don't know. Pat McGrath was around in the 90s. What was her excuse? Kevin Aquan exists. Mom said it was my turn with the beauty splendor.
Trixie, notice me, please. Is this enough?
Is this enough? This eyebrow is not staying glued. We're gonna cover it with fucking eyeshadow.
Just
eyeliner.
shave it off.
I can't shave. If I could shave off your eyebrows.
Now that I know how to use Brow Wiz, it's over.
It's over for these O's.
Oh.
You can't even tell how messed up the eyebrow is on camera, which is fantastic.
Well, it'll be covered by something.
Eyeliner, hopefully. Let me see how far I want to draw this. Like, I need to blend this out a little more. It's giving.
What is it giving?
It's giving Rip Van Winkle because it's like going in lines that you don't even have. You're not old. Like, it's like, okay, one is done. Actually, that doesn't look bad at all.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
I've never done Trixie makeup. Disclaimer, trigger warning, content warning. I can say that because I'm triggered frequently, and it's my party, and I'll cry if I want to.
You know, I got copyright claimed by Limp Bizkit for...
You're kidding.
The t-shirt, because I named it Limp Bizkit University online, and then I got an email from Bonfire, and I was like, oh, if I change the name, is it fine? And they were like, yeah, we got you, so... Shouts out to Bonfire. My eyebrow is the problem.
No, but don't smile. You're ripping it off.
I thought I was helping.
Oh, no.
Fuck. Do we gotta...
I'm gonna, like...
Just leave. Just drive home.
Be like, I'm sorry, everybody. The video is canceled. Still use my pronouns in the comments, but my video is canceled.
Crusty. Crusty is the word I would use to describe the consistency.
It wasn't my fault. It's because
it's my fault.
The glue is just old. Because that's what I said, and I'm dad, and now I'm in charge. I'm the father of the family. You know, I'm the first. There's God, and then there's the second umbrella.
You're not my dad.
There's the second umbrella. There's God, and then there's the second umbrella, and that's the father, and then there's the mother, and then there's the children underneath, and that's how the family structure stays intact.
That's the only way to do. This is giving 80s X-Men.
Yes.
I'm into it. Here's the gag, everyone. Sarah invented yellow eyeshadow. I know it's hard to believe.
I did invent yellow eyeshadow.
Look it up.
BH Cosmetics. That BH Cosmetics 120 palette. Yellow eyeshadow is the best eyeshadow color, for sure. I know what you're thinking, but it doesn't have any depth and dimension, and that is true, and I don't fucking care. Yellow is my favorite color. That's why I'm wearing a yellow bandana and a yellow dress and yellow shoes, and my hair is also yellow. Yes, because they're always like, you know, yellow people are like yellow. I'm like, yes, I am a yellow person. I am like that. Yes, that is me. It's happening. But
yeah, I like yellow eyeshadow, but I stole it from them.
You didn't have to pop off, sis. You didn't have to snap off, sis. And that's on period. We're gonna contour your face first, I guess. Okay. So, first of all, beige rainbow. I think Milk calls it that, the beige rainbow. I know, I'm sorry what she did to you, Trixie, but this is a Pro Milk channel.
You know what? Okay, so that shit not only looks, but it smells like whiteout.
Yes.
I look like a white girl going to Coachella in 2013.
That actually kind of looks great.
This better be my highest viewed video.
This is, like I said, guys, I was terrified I was going to do a really bad job, so it could be going worse. I'm also not watching a tutorial right now.
Yeah, this is from your memory, so this is
for the most part. This is just how I. This is how I see Trixie through my eyes. No, I'm kidding.
I know that you're already a makeup artist, but you really should be a makeup artist.
You think so? I don't know.
This is proving to me
that I should be a makeup artist. Yeah. We'll see.
Or your own channel.
We've thought about it, but I'll be full disclosure. I'm a thief, so I'd be like, this is my favorite eyeliner. I stole it, and it was $9, but I stole it.
But you could give a perspective like, would I have paid $9 for this? No.
What happens when I fucking get caught by the police? But that eyebrow was literally just a mouth. Ah! That's so funny. The other one looks so crazy. That's not my fault, though.
No, we can cover that. It just looks striking right now.
No, we can't cover it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. It's just because the glue peeled up, but that's just because the glue is old. I'm telling you, this was not my fault.
Oh my god.
I think I'm doing okay. It's just your forehead. You have kind of a widow's peak a little bit.
Oh, I got more than kind of.
You got a widow's peak.
I got a whole widow's apartment up here.
A widow's apartment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage. Widow's apartment. Does this one look bad?
Yeah, you literally can't see it if I face that way. You know.
So does this eyebrow look bad? I don't think this side looks bad. I think it's this side because of the. And to be fair, you also did peel some of the glue off and then put more foundation on, then put more glue on top. This is not all me.
You mean that doesn't work? I used to cut my widow's peak in middle school. So, when I see people on TikTok talking about that, that was me. That really happened.
When they say they shaved their widow's peak off?
Yeah, and it's, super obvious. So, Raymond came to my campsite.
Did you save him?
Well, he made me play a game, and I got the cards wrong. So, he didn't move in.
How do you feel?
Pissed off, honestly.
Devastated.
I know he's super rare, so I was like, wow, you're just gonna come to my campsite and like make me look like a fool.
Make me look. Kind of am not doing the worst job, honestly. Other than this wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. My hands were tied. I did everything I could. He was gonna die. He flatlined. I couldn't have done anything. I did everything I could on the table.
It's not your fault.
It's not my fault.
It's not your fault. Continuing the theme, this is the wine that I was drinking earlier, so we're gonna use it to cut this
contour, baby. Yeah. Oh, we are putting on the cosmeceuticals. Sometimes because I'm mentally ill and I have BPD, I'm like, am I straight? Have I been lying to myself this whole time? And I tell other people that, and they're like, that's hilarious. Because, like, they know that's not true. They're like, it's funny that you think you could be straight. And I'm like, wow. Like,
I don't see it for you.
I don't. They're like, I just don't. That's just not my vision for you. They're like, that's just not how I see you.
This is
what?
Sickening.
And she just puts it on her cheek. She does not put it on her nose, even though that's like, I'm a nose blush person. Stan.
I started doing nose blush after I saw you do it.
Really? Mm-hmm. I'm an influencer. That is crazy big. But tell me that it doesn't look like Trixie's lips.
Yes! It does.
Like I said, full disclaimer, I have not planned for this project at all.
But this is good.
You think?
Yes.
Okay. That looks crazy.
Oh,
I have to darken the lip liner now. I think I need a darker lip liner, but I have this lip liner.
This is Crystal Method.
A little bit.
This lip is interesting, but I'm pretty
What's wrong with it?
It's dark.
Well,
there's nothing wrong with that.
I used a color from Trixie Cosmetics.
Yeah, Trixie, you make some dark ass fucking gloss.
Don't you wish you had a bald head right now so you could just push the wig wherever you wanted? How do you feel? Do you feel stunning?
I'm gonna have to invite you over every day to do this.
Why?
Because I just want to live my life like this.
I did it pretty fast.
I literally just look like plus size Trixie Mattel.
This is pretty good. I feel pretty good about this.
You did an amazing job.
You think?
I'm not blowing smoke up your ass.
Like, I was worried I was gonna do poorly because I was like, oh, what if I don't have enough products? What if I do? I'm gonna take a picture of you.
This wig is Wigs by Vanity. It's Courtney Axe brand. Yeah, it came from Australia. I get my wigs imported. Okay.
I can see your brown hair in the back. Are you sure you're not a bottle blonde?
Exposed!
Oh my god. You have a pink bobby pin?
It's purple and I stir the bowl with it.
You stir the bowl with it?
Oh, we could really... Y'all wanted a twist.
Y'all wanted a twist.
Oh! This is the accurate representation of what Fundie Fridays is. If you say, can you explain it in 5 words or less? It's this look.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Tinky Winky Mattel.
Well, thank you all for joining me. Thanks, Sarah, for being here. Amazing makeup artist of the year. Real certified, not real makeup artist.
No, she's not certified, not real. Yes, certified makeup artist.
If you'd like to see the channel grow and support us, we got merch, social media. Leave a comment down below. That's engagement. Remember to share this to Trixie's timeline and
you smudged the lipstick.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, honey, you better remember to consistently smash that like and subscribe button.
Honey. Oh, honey.
Hey, everybody have a very blessed day. Honey.
Honey.
Blessing. You know what's a blessing? These thighs, honey.
What?
This isn't a nightgown.
Do you have a hickey on your neck?
Is that from you?
No. When would I give you a hickey?
I gave it to myself.